The situation with the teachers' strike, as regards, from the standpoint of the Ministry of Labor and the Minister of Labor, Chief Labor Officer, that any strike action commencing again today is deemed illegal, like it was deemed illegal some months ago, because the fundamental is, as far as the other party is concerned, there is still an engagement. And that is what people are missing. There was never a situation whereby engagement stopped. And importantly, let me preface everything I want to say on this matter by saying this. Somehow, people are attempting to treat the teachers' strike as something different to any other labor relations matter. It is not. The teachers are employees like all other employees. The teachers, they have an employer. That is the Ministry of Education. So whether you work at Gaisuko or BOSAI, or you work at any other company, the labor relations and the application of the Labor Act is the same. It cannot be treated differently. And some people, you listen to their arguments. That is what they are suggesting to the Minister of Labor and the Ministry of Labor, because it's the teachers. They must have some different jurisdiction for us to deal with the matter. It can't. The law don't operate that way. Because when we deal with the teachers, next year the nurses might come. The following year another set of workers. Then the private sector, somebody might challenge their employee. It's not Wild West. So that is what thing. It's a worker, employee and employer matter. Two parties are engaged. If you remember just a couple of weeks ago, it was the same party that today will call another strike who withdrew themselves from the engagement because they could not and didn't get what they think was important to be on the agenda. How do you negotiate in good faith? When you think you can behave like a child, negotiations is what it is. It is hard. It is two different sides proposing things, hoping to find a middle ground. In most labor relations matter, no one gets all the things they ask for. You follow it. So somehow, the people who represent the teachers, they think they must get all the things they ask for. As a government, you always have to pay attention to what precedent you are setting. You know, people who are not in government, they could yap and they could talk wild talk. But a government, you always have to pay attention to what precedent you set, because you will be judged by those precedents. If we look at what the ruling of the judge, and I'll dare say this, and I know some people have a difficulty with me saying this, but I will say it anyhow. The court cannot be seen as the judge ruled 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and he indicated at that time that his judgment will be available forthwith, so to speak. We are 3 weeks going to 4 weeks. In my view, as Minister of Labor, that is denying the other party to appeal this matter. And that cannot be a fair system. And I'm calling that out now. It cannot be fair. Whereby you, the judge, ruled, and you're not giving time. You're not writing your judgment that you must do, should do. Importantly, I learned yesterday that the appeal timeline is 6 weeks. So how fair that could be in this matter. So that has compounded, in my view, some of the decisions the judge made and some of the things he did. It was an attempt to take away the jurisdiction of the Minister of Labor and the Ministry of Labor. The judge is in no position to take two persons and tell them, go and mediate. The law speaks to one person, Chief Labor Officer, and another person at certain times in the procedure, the Minister of Labor. Not two unpicked persons. So just like how the judiciary guard their space in the separation of power doctrine, they must not infringe on the other space. But so we are at this place where I suspect because of how this matter is being dealt with in the judiciary, the one party is emboldened, and that's a bad thing. So we have to pay attention to that. But the strike is still what it is, in our view, because there is no basis unless there's a breakdown of talks. And there isn't any breakdown. What the union was attempting to do is to preempt a breakdown. So they can come to the Minister of Labor to say, you have to now intervene. And they have been playing that little game even right through the strike period. They write me to say, okay, you all have to now come in and arbitrate and mediate first and conciliate. How do we do that when the two parties are still engaged? Then they went further to say, we are calling for arbitration procedure to be effected. The arbitration procedure can only be effected if both parties are requesting that. So the Minister of Labor cannot, based on what one party. So the point I'm making is that deliberately, this labor relations matter is thrown into confusion because of several actors doing things that they should not have been doing. So we come to the strike that, according to what has started or restarted today again, I know the Ministry of Education, the employer, they have written the other side to say, we are still open to have dialogue with you. We don't see need for strike action. It is you that walk away, you know. We are still here sitting, waiting for you to return. So the proper thing, in my view, for the union, that what they should have done is return to the bargaining table. Because at the end of the day, look, the matter about employer paying the employee or employees getting what they're requesting or part of it, it cannot be resolved via front page articles in the Kaito News. It cannot be resolved in the courts. It cannot be resolved in the streets. There is only one way labor relations matter they're resolved, around a table where people consistently articulate their views and their positions and try their darnest best to reach a middle ground that will be favorable to both sides.
The issue that we see here, Minister, is that the GTU is proposing this 2019 to 2023 package, and the Ministry of Education is saying from 2024 onwards. Is this in any way no ground for the Ministry of Labor to intervene?
No, the point is, look, I don't know. You know the as I speak to you even today, I have not seen any document, any articulation from the union saying that we have disengaged. I mean, they walk out of a meeting, but formally they have not said that, listen, we have disengaged from the conversation with the employer. They're walking away was specifically, as I understand it, based on one matter that they wanted on an agenda. The other matters that are there, I think they still want to discuss them. So we're not at the place, in my view, this afternoon, where there is need for engagement or the Ministry of Labor throwing itself into this matter, because the parties are still engaged. One has written up to yesterday to say we are willing to engage. The other one have not said, listen, we will not engage you at all. So there is still engagement. And I would hope that, look, the teachers' union return to the table to discuss this matter where they must be. The other thing is, I don't know, how do you say to me, an employer, think about it. Now listen, I want to take you back to 2019, a period, at least that year, when you were not in even power. So you're attempting to ask me to resolve Granger and his government issue that they did not resolve. At least in the period they were in government 1.5 years. Is it a fair thing to tell me to resolve it? The other issue is, since the PPCB came into government 2020, they have adjusted upward teacher salary. So for argument, you can say that the employer dealt with the matters of 2021, part of 2020 when we come into government, 2021, 2022, and 2023. So why would we want to go back there? Again, you can't set that precedent. You set that precedent, you open the doors for others to make claims, the same claims, and then what will you do? What will you do? And so a government, as I have said earlier, we always have to be careful and mindful what precedent we set. It's not the teachers alone we're dealing with, you know. All the other employees in this space, they're paying attention. And not just in this space, beyond this space, whether in public sector or private sector. And so we have to continue to be careful and mindful as to how we treat with the matter, the resolution of the matter. When the union is finished with all they do, strike, not to strike, go to court, not to go to court, celebrate via a judge's ruling. At the end of the day, the resolution to any labor relations matter is around a table with two parties. That is where all labor relations matter that is contentious. That is where they must find their way to find resolution. I would hope that the people who running the union understand that. Importantly, I think the union leadership, they have a problem. And again, as leaders, you always have to be careful what you promise people you're leading. And I think that is where they find themselves, in this box, that they have championed things, they have indicated to their membership that they will get things, and now they have this situation where it's not so easy. And that is the reason why before they went to court on all the issues, everything they were doing was to try to drag the Minister of Labor into this matter, to exculpate them from their own negative position they have. I suspect, look, my prediction is, I suspect the next thing they will do is to suggest that there's a breakdown of talks, they don't want to talk anymore. And that will be a way of trying to say to the ministry, okay, we break down now, you have to come in and mediate. And that's my prediction. But at the end of the day, it's only conversation that can resolve the matter. And I end as I started. Teachers are employees like all other employees. And the labor laws, the regulation and rules, and the Labor Act speak to employees and employers. So whichever sector you work in, whichever profession, you have to subscribe to the law. You might think it has weaknesses, you might think it should be amended, but that's what we have. And the Minister of Labor, the Ministry of Labor, it is only what we have we can work with.